starting this video off with 39,504 miles. Let's see where I'm going. Maybe you guys can figure it out by the time I'm at my destination, how many miles I have, and calculate it. I'm going from San Francisco to somewhere. 39,504. Over 200 miles into the trip, still got about another 200 miles to go. Just wanted to get a quick little update before the sun sets, so a little bit more driving. I'm gonna set up camp in my car. It's gonna be a fun day tomorrow. Gonna be some good eating too. Alright, so we made it all the way down here. This is the person I was talking about yesterday. This is Kevin, Catch and Cook California, his YouTube channel, that's the name. He's from up north by Santa Rosa area. Does a lot of diving, a lot of fishing, foraging, very knowledgeable on all that stuff. So if you're interested in that, which I'm sure you are, check out his channel.
We like traditional technologies and bushcraft, and by traditional technologies I don't mean like an old school rotary phone. I mean like stone tools and making our own bows and arrows and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's got one video where he made a canoe out of, what was that, like wreaths?
Tule reeds.
Yeah, that's crazy, and it worked. Looked like it tracked really well too.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, all right, but the one thing that we all want to know, when you go diving, so before I came out here, usually the day before I have to shave. So how do you dive and not get your mask filled with water?
I totally do all the time.
You do?
I just come up and then I just clear my mask all the time.
Yeah.
My brother, he puts like a little bit of chapstick on his beard, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you just deal with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
For style.
Well, let's get right into the dive. Drove down about 400 miles from San Francisco down to SoCal, and the plan was to hunt for some spiny lobster. Take a look what we're talking about here.
I only have one fin.
Oh.
It's okay though.
Back here?
So the day started off horribly. I lost a fin. Can you believe that? And before that, my mask broke as I was trying to put it on. When Kevin actually found my fin, and he found a lobster too. That's what we're going for. You can see the gauge, and the gauge has to be the length of the carapace to keep. That one was just a little small. But the name of the game today was to dive down, look under rocks, look in holes, and see if we could see any of those spiny lobsters' antennas sticking out, and see if we were fast enough to grab them. And these things are so fast. If you are experienced in diving for spiny lobster, free diving for spiny lobster, please give me some tips, because I am determined to get some. But it was really fun to try to get some lobster. Here is an example of one and what you can anticipate to see when you see one. You dive down, and most likely you'll see some antenna sticking out. And I mean, I don't know, because I'm not too experienced, but it seems like you just got to try to sneak up on them. You can see them in the top of the screen right there. This one is probably short, but you got to sneak up to them and just try to grab them. Oh gosh, they're so fast. You can see my gloves are a little bit worn out. Actually, I cut myself on that lobster because they are spiny. They don't have claws, but they are spiny. First thing I did when I got home was buy me a new set of Kevlar gloves. But yeah, man, they are so fast. But the name of the game was just trying to look under holes, look under rocks, and try to get some lobster. So I gotta say, I am impressed and I am happy with my diving nowadays. Like, I can dive down to about 15 feet comfortably, hold my breath underwater for a good 40 seconds. So from almost dying a couple years ago, I think I've come a long way. This was really cool to see. Man, this reef was just loaded with life. All those orange fish are Garibaldi, and all those little small fish are smelt. There's a calico bass down on the bottom, a bunch of sheephead too. But I wasn't trying to shoot anything, honestly. I was just trying to get some lobster and get some scallops. But it's really cool how the smelt, these about 6-inch smelt, were just schooled around this pinnacle. So it's true. Oh, and there's a little Garibaldi trying to get some food. But yeah, it's true how the bait fish, they'll stick around structure. That's a limpet, believe it or not. We ate that later in the day. Right there, my red float tube, Kevin marked a scallop down there. He was like, there's a scallop right next to this sea star. Just dive down and you'll see it. Well, I dove down and I was like, where the heck is it? There's nothing here. No, is that it? No. Like, everything is so camouflaged down here. I mean, the scallops are. If you're looking for scallops, you got to know what you're looking for. So I went back up and I was like, dude, no, I can't see it. He was like, all right, let's dive down together. So we dived down, and well, he's got years and years of diving experience. So he's like, it's right here. I was like, oh, okay, there it is. So I've got my ab bar with me. I try to pry it off from one side, but it doesn't come off. So I'm like, no, I'm not going back up for another breath. I'm going to get it right here. So I pry it off, I get it off, and they're stuck on with their shell. It's not like an abalone where they're stuck on by their meat or their foot, so they're a lot harder to get off. But my first abalone, got it. Kevin was like, the tradition is once you catch your first scallop, you've got to eat it in the water. So that's what we did. Check out his channel if you want to see that. It's really cool to see all these leopard sharks in the shallows. Did you see those halibut? I cleared my snorkel, and 2 good-sized halibut swam away right there in the top right. Man. All right, here is an example of a spiny lobster. I know it's really hard to see, but it's right there in the middle of the screen. You really got to know what you're looking for. And I was thinking, in the shallows, I saw a couple lobster, and it's so much more turbulent in there. I feel like it would be easier to catch them, especially because their attention is distracted from all the waves and the sand. Like up here, there's actually a lobster, and I'm trying to get down to it, but the current is just pulling me back. But man, I had a couple chances, but no luck. It still was a great day though. So back on shore, and let's see what we caught.
Well, I was going to say, when you go out diving, the gear you have is so important. Like, if you don't have a mask that fits right and the seal isn't right, water's going to be leaking in there the entire time. Or if you have a snorkel, so there's 2 types of snorkels actually. You have one where it's like bare bones, no purge valve or anything. It's just in your mouth and a pipe up to air to breathe. But there's another type where if you go underwater, it prevents the water from going into the snorkel, which has its pluses and minuses. Yeah. So you were saying?
On the minus side, so I use the bare bones, just J-shaped snorkel. It's what most of the competitive freedivers use, competitive spearfishers. That just seems to be the standard. And I think it's like, there's an old saying from where I come from, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Those purge valves work great. It makes it so it's a little easier to clear your snorkel because a lot of the water will come out the bottom. But the problem is if you get a little bit of sand in the water column or a little bit of fine particulate from like kelps or seaweeds or whatever, that can get jammed in there. And if it does, right when you need that breath, when you hit the surface, you take a deep breath and you end up just drinking a bunch of water.
Yeah, so that's what I was using, one of those with the purge valve. And so many times today, I was about to dive down, I was ready to take my last breath, and just water. Yeah. And I had to come up and clear the snorkel and take another breath. So yeah, just having the right equipment functioning properly is so important. It'll make your dive so much more enjoyable. So anyway, yeah, we dove already, so we got a good catch. We'll show you right now. Dove for about 2.5 hours. I was lucky enough, well actually Kevin, he first found a scallop, showed me where it was, and I was able to pry it off. My first ever, and we ate it out there. That was really amazing. And then I went around and found 2 of my own, and that's all I caught. So the rest is Kevin's catch. This right here is the sargo. You've never caught that before, have you?
So I actually have caught these before, but I was targeting them specifically today because they are really, really tasty, and I think they're a totally underrated fish. And I think a lot of people actually confuse them. They see them in the water with that dark stripe there and the silver, and they think it's a pile perch.
Looks just like a perch almost.
Right? And then we got the
sheephead.
Sheephead. They're hermaphroditic, and part of their life cycle is if there's not a lot of males in the population, the females will actually switch and become males. And so what you see with this one is it's starting to get this light colored line right here, which is very typical of the males, as well as that white chin. So this one's on its way to becoming a male.
Yeah, and this right here, Kevin was saying this is a limpid, and this does not, well actually the shell kind of looks like a limpid that we'd find in Northern California, but this is all soft on the outside, and you can eat the whole thing?
Yep, you can eat the whole thing. This is the giant keyhole limpet, Megathura crenulata. It's the biggest limpet in California, and they're really tasty. You'll see it's kind of like a calamari if you cook it right.
Of course, sea urchin, a little different than the one from Northern California. It looks like the spikes aren't as sharp, but I could be totally wrong. Kevin said he found this one right next to some kelp, so hopefully it's been eating well and some good insides.
And then these guys, this is Norrissia norrisii. This is the Norris top snail. One of those turban snails, we're allowed 35 a day. Beautiful green in that shell. Never tasted them. And then this is the calico bass. This is like one of my favorite nearshore fish.
Would you say it's comparable to a rockfish of some sort?
Yeah, like a rockfish with really good texture. Like one of my favorite rockfish. And then of course we've got our rock scallops.
Yeah, it was really fun catching those rock scallops, and they're so camouflaged. If you, like, Kevin pointed one out to me. He said the spear is right next to it, and I couldn't even see it. I had to dive down with him, and he pointed it out to me. But they are so camouflaged that the only way to distinguish them, I think is the only way, I don't know, it might be more ways, but when they're open, their mouths are open a little bit, there's a bright orange line around the center part. And then you just pry them off as best as you can.
Most of the time they are orange, but there's also a gray variant. So when you see the orange ones, like look around near them because they're usually kind of clustered, and sometimes you'll see one of the gray variants and you're like, oh man, I didn't even see that one. And then when you find one, mark it really close to where it is, because like Matt's is saying, once it closes up, you're like, wait, where did it go? It's just a part of the reef again.
So I think I'm gonna fillet. Kevin said I'll fillet up the fish. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna cut up this keyhole limpet, I'll clean all the scallops, and then I'll probably steam these Norris top snails.
Yeah, and what are we making today?
We're gonna make Mexican seafood cocktails as a nice little appetizer to our tortas del pescado. We're gonna do fish tortas, which I've never even heard of.
Me either, but I'm hungry, and I'll eat just about anything right now.
Sounds good to me.
All right, this is the sargo. Just gonna fillet. We're gonna fillet everything up and then throw it all together. Yeah, I've probably been on like, I don't know, 8 dives maybe. Sometimes I feel like I fillet better with my own little pocket knife. So let's try this on this calico.
Yeah.
Right along the rib cage here. That's a nice fillet. All right, 2 fillets. Not too shabby. Do you have a favorite rockfish to eat?
I like vermilion a lot.
Me too.
Yeah, they're good.
Something about vermilion. Is it just because they're so hard to catch, or?
I don't know, man. I always wonder that.
Wow, dude, that sheephead meat looks amazing. Bright white. For me, it always helps to cut the head off when you do the other side of the fillet. Now, if you ever want to take the pin bones out of your fish, it makes it so much easier to take the skin off first. And if you really didn't want to waste any meat, after you take the skin off, you can use some tweezers and just pull the bones out. That way you wouldn't waste this little strip here. So you might not have gotten me when we were out in the water when I cut open that scallop and ate it out there, so Kevin's going to demonstrate how to do that with one on land.
So first thing you're going to do is you're going to look around the edges. You're going to try and find an opening, and usually that opening is going to be right next to the hinge here on the scallop. So you can see right there, nice easy access point. Sometimes they'll be growing kind of strange in a crack or something like that, and everything will be kind of bent up, and you kind of just want to chip the edge of the shell with a rock or something to get access, but usually you can just get in right here. The idea is I'm going to run the blade in right here, and then the adductor muscle, which is what we think of as a scallop, is right here in the middle. So I'll run the blade in, I'm just going to slice through the center of it. That's going to cause it to open up, and then when it opens up I can tear it open and finish cleaning it. So now it's open. You want to make sure you got that cut all the way through, which I did. Otherwise, when you open it, you'll tear the scallop. And then this is a pea crab.
That came out of the scallop?
Yeah, so they actually live inside scallops,
wow.
Sometimes inside larger mussels as well. And it's a soft-shelled crab, so if we find more than one of these, we're going to put them in our cocktail as well.
Okay.
Because if we throw it back in the ocean, it's just going to get eaten anyway.
That's a very strange looking crab. Soft shell inside the safety of a scallop. Looks like a tick, doesn't it?
An edible tick.
An edible soft tick. And on the bottom, that's the, is that, so would that be a female?
I think so.
That's really weird.
So many cultures eat the mantle here, and the mantle is safe during certain times of the year, but because this is like maybe day 2 into the time of year where you can eat the whole bivalve shellfish in certain areas, I'm just gonna play it safe and we're gonna remove this. Later on, when it's like the middle of the winter and we know for sure that it is safe, and call that biotoxin information hotline, then we'll actually give this a taste test as well. What I'm gonna do is just run my finger around and just get rid of the gut and get rid of the mantle.
And that's it.
All one piece. Beautiful scallop button right there.
So much easier than I thought too.
Right?
Comes out super clean.
And you know, there are people who would say, oh, well, you know, just risk it, go ahead and eat this. But I had some friends that, you know, they went diving, they got a bunch of scallops during the time when it's safe to eat the adductor muscle, but it's not safe to eat the gut. And they ate a bunch of scallops and they threw this to their chickens thinking like, whatever, it's all good. And the next morning they woke up and all of their chickens were dead. So call the biotoxin information hotline if you're even thinking about eating any of this. And even if you're thinking about eating this, because every once in a while we have a freak plankton bloom that's so toxic that even the white meat on a scallop can be deadly.
Yeah, and you don't want to die. So Kevin said if we find one more of those crabs inside the scallop, we're going to eat it. And we've got 3 of them now. This is just 2 of them, but I guess we're eating them. Little jalapeno poppers or something. All right, y'all, I'll be honest. Kevin doesn't hear me right now, but I don't know how I feel about eating these things. Or those crabs from the scallops, man. Oh God, what's going to happen? I don't know, but we're gonna find out. All right, snails are done, just a couple minutes. Let's see how they look. They look great, I guess. I'm gonna sear these scallops and then I'm gonna cook the fish. After that, we're gonna throw these into the sandwich and then we're gonna have the snails, that limpet, those crabs, in a cocktail. A little salt and garlic. I wish I had oil that has a higher burning temperature, but this butter, I guess it'll do. I'm just gonna wait until the butter turns just a little bit brown, just so it doesn't burn, and then I'm gonna throw these scallops in there. If they're raw on the inside, just like tuna, if they have a nice sear on it, oh, there we go, perfect. Then they'll be good. So this big one on first. Try to keep them away from each other so they don't steam. Just gonna sear them just a little bit like that. Not long at all. Really not long at all. And when I think they're done, let's see, is it done? Yep, it's done. I can take it out, put it in my pan just on the side. We're about to eat. I'm getting hungrier by the minute. We're not gonna cook everything, so this is what we're going to cook. The whole sargo that Kevin shot, the calico, half a fillet, and the sheephead, half a fillet. Now before I cook this, if you could do one thing for me, maybe not right now, maybe at the end of the video, if you could go to my Facebook page and follow that, I think if you're a fisherman, you would get a lot of benefit from it. It's a community page. Everybody can ask questions if they have any questions about fishing, or if they want to post pictures. Every Friday I'll post a fan picture. So follow my Facebook page. The link is in the description. It's Fisherman's Life on Facebook. So let's salt and garlic this thing up, cook it up. Sargo, you're going in last because you're so small. All right, sheephead and calico are about the same size, so I'm gonna throw them both in same time. Now once one side is done, then I'll throw in the sargo and it should be finished at the same time. Yeah, it's weird how the sheephead like just disintegrated and that calico is just holding up really nice. Yeah, look at that. It's just like a mush.
Yep.
It's a straight up mush. All right, just about done. That's the sargo there. Another one. This is the calico bass. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Oh, it's falling apart perfectly. And actually, we're gonna save a little piece and try it separately. This is that sheephead. Look how mushy that thing is. That thing is very strange. I don't know, it looks good though, doesn't it? Weird though. Weird how it's just super mushy, just disintegrated in the pan. Now, I better not drop this thing. This thing is like teetering on the edge. All right, we're almost done, I promise. We're about to cook that limpet right now. And those are the crab right there, cooking. I don't know about that.
A little bit of calico, a little bit of sargo. Dude, that's flaking perfectly. And a little bit of sheephead, right?
I feel like that sheephead is actually gonna taste pretty good. All right, before we go to town on all this stuff, we're gonna try a taste test between the sargo, calico, and the sheephead. Go ahead, let's try the sargo first. A little butter, salt, and garlic, that's all. Reminds me of halibut right off the bat.
Yeah? It's got a great texture, that chewiness.
Very firm.
Yeah. And that butter garlic, I gotta be honest.
Well, that's all I had.
It's perfect. That's good, man.
And I'm really interested to try the sheephead because it's super flaky, super soft. It just disintegrated in the oil. I feel like it's gonna taste like perch. It does, to me. First impression.
Almost
Good, I like it.
Almost like if you crossed a perch with a blue rockfish. You know?
Yeah, kind of.
A little bit of a flakiness to it, but
Yeah.
still kind of like...
Perch has a very distinct flavor, and blue rockfish has more of the texture.
Yeah,
Flavor of a perch, texture of a rockfish.
I think so.
Even though it looked really mushy.
I thought it was just going to fall to pieces.
All right, and last,
Calico.
calico. Feels good to eat, man.
Oh man. Yeah, it sure does.
Very firm. Overcooked, would you say, or is that just how it is?
It's juicy. I think it's still good.
Man. What do you prefer? What's your favorite?
To be honest, I thought I was going to say the calico. I think I like the sargo the best.
The sargo. Yeah, the sargo's a little different. I think I like the sheephead more.
Perfect.
Just what one person likes doesn't mean everybody else is going to have the same impression. So you kill the sargo, I'll kill the sheephead.
Oh yeah.
Well, you killed all of them, but...
All right, here we go. Got this crazy, super extra seafood cocktail.
A little crab on top, some limpet, uni. What else is in there?
Got the Norris top snail.
Scallop.
Scallop, yeah. Then we got all kinds of good spices and whatnot. I'll leave a whole recipe in the description.
And we got these sandwiches. I'm really excited for this sandwich. We'll see about that cocktail.
It's gonna get crazy. Let's do the cocktail real quick first.
All right. Actually, you know what? Let's do the crab by itself.
Here we go.
I'm gonna eat the legs first, just because I don't want to get the full thing. I just want to see how it tastes. So
Sure,
whatever you want to do.
I'm going all in. I'm gonna dip it in a little bit of this sauce here. Weird
for
little
it.
pea crab.
Yeah, I'll do it too.
The crunch initially is good.
Agree.
And then it's a little gutty.
It's a little gutty.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of guts going on.
Feel, yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, it's not exactly bitter, but it's really poopy.
Yeah. It's a good description.
Really poopy.
Real poopy.
All right, yeah, so let's do this.
Let's do it.
A little limpet, I'll get a little limpet and a snail on this one.
I'm gonna do the same thing.
That tomato flavor is really strong. It's hard to taste anything
No,
until later.
no. I don't think you're picking up on the flavor of the snail in there. It's got a good texture though.
I mean, we can just do the taste test on camera and then eat the rest by ourselves after we turn the camera off.
All right, taking a little bit of uni. can only do a little bit of uni each year. It's so darn rich. Uni's uni.
Surprisingly, the uni almost overpowers the tomato.
That's what I was thinking. At first you don't catch it, you just get the texture, and then all of a sudden it's like, boom, uni in your face.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm not the biggest fan of uni.
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, it's good, but yeah, if I had the choice between uni and the limpet, I'd probably go for the limpet.
Every time, every time. How about scallops?
Oh yeah, where are they?
There's a big one right there. It's got your name all over it.
Lightly seared, little clam on the bottom.
Find one in here. Oh yeah.
So good. So good.
If I was going to do this again, and the idea was try a bunch of stuff that's from SoCal, see how it is, I think I'd make that all scallops, man.
Just chop it up into quarters.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's good.
that's really good. It's like you're really biting into something. Yeah, that's
Still
good.
retains that sweetness too, even after we seared it.
It does.
It's nice.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Sandwich time.
That was good. I like that.
that scallop
I like
a
that
lot,
scallop.
man. All right, so make sure.
Now that right there is a sandwich. Fish, scallop, tomato. I'm gonna eat that scallop that's popping out of here first. Cheers, brother. Thank you for taking me out here, showing me the spot. It's been a while, trying to make a video for a while, but it's finally come. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming, man. It was super fun.
It was.
Hopefully the first of many.
Yep, hopefully. Cheers. It's gonna take me a minute to fully appreciate this sandwich.
It's a bit complex.
Yeah, but this is the first meal that we've eaten all day.
All day.
Did you have breakfast?
No.
Yeah, me either. Sun's setting now too.
I need some hot sauce.
Very satisfying.
The hot sauce brought it up, man.
Did it?
That's what it needed.
Yeah, it's like you take a bite and you just want to take a deep breath.
Yep. I'm starting to feel so much better right now.
Very rewarding to catch your own food like this. When I caught that scallop myself, or when I found that scallop myself, even though it's just a little thing stuck to a rock, it feels so satisfying and rewarding to pry it off and put it in your bag and know you're going to eat it later, or share it with your friends or family, and to know you did it all yourself. It's really a good feeling.
That's what it's all about. So 2 years ago, I shattered my kneecap into 5 pieces. I'm sitting on the couch and I've watched everything that could possibly be interesting on Netflix. So I go onto YouTube.
It's a really great texture, the scallop, raw and seared. It's firm, tender, and a subtle flavor. Yeah, I don't know.
And it's crazy
Really
that
good.
it's great raw and cooked.
Yeah,
It's just very versatile food.
it is.